Welcome to day 8 of my 10-day Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. countdown before season 7. And yeah, today is my top 10 episodes of the show, my top 10 favourite episodes. Little behind the scenes. This was originally supposed to be like day 3 or 4. And I kept putting it off because I could never decide on my top 10. I found this incredibly difficult. It's kind of the reason I have had people ask me before to like do a top 10 episode video. I nearly did one just before season 6 started, but I just need to bite the bullet and actually get it done this time. So yeah, I found this incredibly challenging. I went back and forth on so many different things. Even this order that I've gone for isn't exactly set, because you could ask me tomorrow and I'd probably change the order around. I might even change some episodes out entirely. Just kind of, I just needed to make a decision, so I was like, you know what, that'll do. I did know my like top 4 or 5. I kind of had that in my head, but the second half of the list, I did struggle with, because with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's only 1 or 2 episodes I'd say like, I'm not big on that. I probably wouldn't like watch that again in a hurry. It's very rare that I have an episode like that with S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's something I've loved about revisiting the older episodes, doing my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guide, which you can check out on my channel. Shameless plug. And it's that even the early episodes that a lot of people kind of give hate towards, I still really, really enjoy. And one of those early episodes, well, one of them did make the list. Guess which one in early season 1. But there was another one that very nearly made it as well. So yeah, I had quite a few to kind of cut down and everything. So I've kind of done a few shout outs to like episodes I really do love in particular. But I did find this incredibly difficult, and this could easily be a completely different list tomorrow for the most part. Just because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think is that good in terms of quality. And again, this is like a personal thing. Maybe there's certain things about certain episodes that I don't quite like, so that kind of pulls them down, even if they're like considered to be a really good episode. It could be like personal connections to episodes. It could be, certain performances, certain like, some of my favourite scenes in the series, maybe in this episode, so that helps boost it up or something. Maybe behind the scenes, had some different experiences with different episodes, and that kind of affects my view on them. So it's obviously a very changeable and subjective thing. So I'd be very surprised if people like 100% agree with my list, because the odds of that I think are 1,000,000 to 1, maybe even more. So yeah, this is going to be my top 10-ish currently, as it stands, as I've written it down for now, for today, my top 10 favourite episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Do have a few shout outs to episodes that nearly made it in, so close I did swap it quite a few times. Just that I really love. I'll just go in kind of like order from the beginning to the current status of the show, but one of them's actually I Spy, which is episode 4 of season 1, and I'd completely forgotten how much I loved it. Rewatching it for my guide, I adore that episode. I thought it was really, really well done. I love the opening sequence. I love the tag scene with Fitz and Ward and Skye. Some of the funniest moments of the show for me. I just really, really adored that episode. Another one is Melinda, which is season 2, episode 17, another shout out. Because we finally got a lot of backstory on May. We kind of found out what made her the way she was when we first met her and everything. It's just a really intense, beautiful episode, and Ming is fantastic in that one as well. Then another shout out. I have 2, 4, 6 kind of shout out ones. Specially recommended, but the third one is What We Become, which is season 2, episode 10, I believe. I think it was like the mid-season finale of season 2, where obviously we lose Trip, but Raina and Skye get their powers, and we see Skye transform into Daisy. Really, really cool sequence. Heartbreaking stuff alongside that, obviously with Fitzsimmons and everything. But it was a real kind of big, like, holy shit moment for the show, and it's like, oh my god, they've been building to that since the start of the show, with Skye actually being Daisy. And I remember just everyone going crazy, and it's like, oh my god, Skye is actually Daisy Johnson. I remember that excitement when that first got revealed, and I thought that was amazing. So yeah, I really adore that episode as well. Another shout out was SOS Part 2, which is the season 2 finale. I love that episode so much. A lot of Fitzsimmons content, obviously. If we pretend it doesn't end the way it ends, we have some great moments for them. Gemma kind of being open about her feelings towards Fitz. I love the final confrontation between Daisy and her mum and her dad, how that storyline wraps up. Science Biatch, that's enough in itself. the fight, well, the Science Biatch fight even, and then Coulson losing his hand and everything. I just really, really enjoyed how things kind of wrapped up with that season. So yeah, probably one of the strongest finales for me. I don't even think there's been some very good finales. I don't have that many finales in my top 10, actually. I only have one. I did try and kind of balance it a bit as well when I made my list. I wanted like maybe one or two from each season, so I did try and balance it out a bit more than maybe what I would have done normally. I don't think every season has an entry in my top 10, but it is what it is. And another one is Parting Shot, is for like a shout out, mainly for that final scene. That's kind of why it didn't quite make the top 10, because it was more so that beautiful send off for Bobby and Lance with the Spy's goodbye at the end. One of my favourite scenes of the entire show. I do like the rest of the episode as well, but that's the kind of the moment everyone thinks of, I think. So I wanted to shout out that one. And then the final one is Fun and Games, which is season 5, episode 6. I had a blast with that episode. Clark Gregg directed it, which always bodes a lot of excitement. Then obviously the Fitzsimmons kind of reunion and proposal from Gemma's side. Loved everything with that, and even Fitz's initial proposal as well, and them kind of escaping from Cassius, reuniting with the whole gang. So good. I really did enjoy the episode. It's one of my go-tos, I think, for just like sit back, relax and enjoy an episode, because it's not necessarily too angsty at times, and there's something about the first half of season 5 that I really love. It's really special to me. So yeah, that's kind of my last shout out, and they nearly made the mark, but these are just some episodes I have maybe like a more personal connection to, etc, etc. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into my top 10. Okay, so number 10 is Ascension, which is season 3, episode 22, the season 3 finale. I think this is the only finale on the list, and I feel like that's probably a disservice to some of the finales that we've had, because they're really great, and yet none of them are going to be higher up on the list. But I think that bodes well to the quality of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that, you know, sometimes not even the finales are like the big episodes. But yeah, this one I want to include. It is the only season so far that we've gotten where Fitzsimmons actually ended happy and together, so that's always nice. The whole resolution to like the fallen agent thing they were teasing for like the last third of the season, you know, we knew someone was going to die and whatever, and that ended up being Lincoln. I thought his death was very emotional, very sad. I thought Chloe and her kind of Daisy's reaction to that death as well was so well acted. Really emotional moments, some really funny moments, and like high stakes one. You know, Coulson doing the "You're My Only Hope" thing, Princess Leia, great stuff. And it's kind of a send off for Brett Dalton in a way as well. It just kind of had everything I wanted in the finale, and I also have a very, very personal connection to that episode that I will be talking about on day 10 for a different kind of video, so I won't get into it right now, but that personal connection also kind of helped really elevate this episode for me in my top 10. So it's just about made it, but a really, really fantastic finale for me, and very, very emotional. Number 9 is Turn, 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 which is episode 17 of season 1. I think this is a big episode for a lot of people. I see a lot of people say this is one of their favourites, and you can see why. It's intense. The revelation at the end that Ward is Hydra is insane. Finding out about Garrett and the clairvoyant and everything. The big kind of turning point in the season with Hydra actually being inside S.H.I.E.L.D. all along and tying into the Winter Soldier, and how it's just like, holy shit, things just got really really real with that season. You know, just suddenly it was like, oh damn. And it kind of changed the course of the rest of the season and elevated it even more. Changed the course of the entire show, really. With the whole Ward reveal, it was such a shocking moment for me. I was genuinely stunned by that ending with Ward. Not what I was expecting in the slightest. I could not believe it, that he was Hydra. And it sparked some really emotional kind of storylines later on down the way. So it was a big turning point for the show, I think. Turn, Turn, Turn. And just a really great, intense episode. So yeah, really, really love that one. Now number 8, I think, is going to be one that a lot of people are surprised isn't higher. And number 8 is The Devil Complex, which is season 5, episode 14. Now, this is a stunning episode. I genuinely think it's one of the best, and I genuinely think it probably should be in at least my top 5, if not my top 3. However, as a big Fitz fan, as a big Fitzsimmons fan, as a big Daisy fan, as a big Deke fan, this is really painful to watch. I did not have a very good reaction to this episode when it first came out. Didn't help that I watched it at 3 a.m. very tired because I stayed up to watch it. But I was shaken to my core with the whole big twist with Fitz and the Doctor, his psychic split, and what he did to Daisy and everything. Kind of crazy. Really uncomfortable, really sad, like horrific and heartbreaking to watch. And that's good stuff. It's amazing, amazing television. Ian is like phenomenal in that episode. I mean, the whole cast are phenomenal in that episode, honestly. Particularly the scene, obviously, where Fitz takes the thing out of Daisy. Everyone just kills it. And Gemma at the end, finding out that Deke's their grandson. The little speech that Deke gives to Gemma at the end is so nice as well. Some really great directing in that episode too. But just the twist with the whole thing. I don't enjoy watching it. Even though it's really good TV, I don't enjoy watching it because of how sad that whole sequence makes me, and kind of breaks my heart every time I watch it, so I can't watch it very often. And I got a lot of backlash from people in the comments on my reactions to that video, so it did kind of taint the episode for me as well, which is a shame. But yeah, that's why it's a bit further down, because I can't just stick it on and really, really enjoy it, because I just think it's so awful to watch in the best way. So that's why it's a bit lower down than I think a lot of people would place it, but it's still in there. It's still a stunning episode. Okay, so number 7 is The Singularity, which is season 3, episode 18. Fitzsimmons bang. That's kind of that's all you need to know. Years and years of waiting finally paid off in a big way. I love everything with them in this episode. I also love the kind of pain of obviously Daisy being under Hive's influence and her like attacking Fitz and everything, all that going on. Hive taunting Gemma about Will and her kind of standing up to him. And then of course, yeah, them Fitzsimmons taking their relationship to the next level, and their really nice conversation about the event horizon and singularity and everything. Also, I think this is the one that introduced Radcliffe as well. He kind of became a big part in season 4. So yeah, it's a lot of Fitzsimmons goodness. I was finally fed with the Fitzsimmons in that episode. It's just such a delightful kind of episode to revisit for me. It's a real punch the air moment if you're a Fitzsimmons fan, I'd say. So I adore that episode. Really, really, I think it's an iconic moment for Fitzsimmons fans, and I just had the biggest smile on my face for the entire next week after that episode aired. And I really needed it during the time where season 3 was coming to an end in my life as well. So I definitely look back very, very fondly on this episode. Probably not as fondly as Fitzsimmons look back on it fondly, but it's the Fitzsimmons sex episode, so of course it's in my top 10. Okay, number 6 is 4,722 Hours, which is season 3, episode 5. It's the big Gemma-centric one where we find out what happened to her on the planet. Elizabeth is a powerhouse in this episode. She kind of spends a lot of it on her own, and she really, really carries it. Her performance is stunning through the entire thing. Obviously that ending as well, where Fitz promises to help get Will back for her, is really emotional too. But Elizabeth and Gemma really have to carry that episode, and it works so well. I love how different it was, and it was a real kind of breakaway from the norm when they did that, and really enjoyable stuff. The only reason it's not really higher for me is the whole Will situation and making a love triangle out of it, which negated a really more interesting PTSD plot for Gemma and kind of glossed over what she went through in favour of a love triangle, which has been very overdone on TV. So yeah, that was the one time I've been disappointed by the writing for the show and where they decided to take a direction, because I think that actually went against the character arcs and character development for the first time, and probably the only time that I've been really against a decision they've made on the show. So that's why it's not really higher, but nonetheless, it's an incredible episode, and Elizabeth is stunning. Okay, so top 5, and at number 5 it is The Real Deal, which is season 5, episode 12, of course the 100th episode. Great celebration of the show. I had a real nice response from commenters on this video and this reaction as well to that episode, because I really poured my heart out and cried a lot in that reaction and the afterthoughts section, and people were so kind and so nice, and that kind of positively affected what was already a great episode for me. Seeing Mike Peterson again was great, and all these villains in years gone by, and of course the Fitzsimmons wedding, one of my favourite moments in the show. Such a beautiful way of ending that episode, and then we get the big reveal that Deke is their grandson as well, so it was like, oh my god. And just everything with Coulson revealing exactly what went down and that he's dying, everyone's reactions to that, the scene where Daisy says, you know, there's nothing without him, and she breaks down. Oh boy, that gets me good. Just everyone brings it in that episode. It's so great, such an awesome celebration of the show. And we get some great kind of twists and turns with the ending, and one of my most favourite sequences on TV, I'd say. And at number 4 is Rewind, which is season 5, episode 5. So surprise, surprise, we have the Gemma-centric episode, and now we have the Fitz-centric episode in my top 10. Who'd have guessed it? But we all know how much I love Fitz. He's my absolute favourite character in anything. I loved them kind of exploring how he got his way back to the team. Everything like Robin, and obviously Hunter coming back, Lance. Seeing him again was so much fun, and Enoch coming into the mix. Looking back, there's so much kind of foreshadowing of like where Fitz really loses it at Enoch and kind of threatens him and physically hurts him. There's a bit of the Doctor in there. You can see him like when he's in prison and like locked up for a bit. You can see him reading books on personality splits and stuff like that. So that's kind of foreshadowing what he's going through. His kind of silent little battle in the background. And of course, Ian is fantastic as he always is. Just an absolute blast of an episode. I really, really love it. And again, I got a lot of nice responses to that reaction. I think that's when my videos started really getting noticed, my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reactions. So I kind of look back on that period fondly as well. So I only started reactions with season 5. And yeah, it's Fitz-centric, so I'm always going to love it. Amazing, amazing episode. Then at number 3 is Fizzed, F-Z-Z-T, Fizzed, however you want to pronounce it. Season 1, episode 6. The episode that made me fall in love with the show, head over heels. I was like, oh my god, this show's incredible. I will be watching this until the end of the run. Just how they thrust Fitzsimmons into the spotlight, gave them some really meaty material for the first time. Gemma's infection, and you know, her like nearly sacrifice, and the fact that she was going to do that. Again, Elizabeth and Ian killed it in that episode. So good. The stakes, I really felt the stakes. I think they were really high for the first time because it directly kind of affected a team member. Then everything with Coulson and the infected firefighter, their little scene, like tying into the events of the Avengers with the Chitauri helmet and everything. It's just so well done. And that scene with Coulson and that guy is very emotional and very well acted. And Clark's little, we'd have hate to lose you, Gemma, at the end of the episode as well. Some of the best delivery, I think, of any line in the show is Clark in that little scene near the end. Just an amazing kind of first glimpse at how powerful Fitzsimmons can be when they're not just a comic relief. And yeah, it was one of the first times I've opened the gasps at a TV show, was when Simmons kind of fell out of the plane. And yeah, it was just a moment for me. I was like, oh my god, I love this show. I'm going to absolutely love this for the rest of my life. So it means a lot to me, this episode, and I talk about the specifics of that really in my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guide for that episode if you want to check that out as well. But just an amazing episode. Really kind of the first true example, I think, of exactly what the show can do. It was emotional, still had some really funny moments. The stakes were really great. Beautiful performances by the whole cast. And yeah, I just love it so much. Number 2 is Inescapable, which is season 6, episode 6. Oh boy, this is very tight between this and number 1. It was very close. Fitzsimmons-centric. Are we surprised? I love it. Again, Ian and Liz are amazing. Bringing the Doctor and like the id Gemma into things is so cool. The twist of them hooking up is hilarious. They really kind of explored the trauma that they've both gone through, and how far they're willing to go for each other. Like seeing Academy flashbacks, which I'd wanted for so long, was awesome to see. And then kind of finding some real peace in their relationship. Young Gemma is a superstar. I loved her. The Prince and the Stars book, with the little Easter eggs that are in there. Just a real kind of celebration of the love that Fitz and Gemma have for each other. And yeah, some much needed catharsis, I think, for both them and for us as the audience, because of everything they've gone through. Fitz finding out that he died, about that Coulson had died. They really kind of addressed a lot of problems that they've both gone through over the years and allowed them to move forward in a really healthy way, I think. So an amazing and I think really needed episode. Such a beautiful way of exploring the relationship with those two characters. Again, Ian and Liz are just always incredible. So well done. What a beautiful episode. And there's also a really nice little bit at the end with Daisy and Mac that I really like too. So yeah, stunning episode, and very, very close to being my number one spot. I did very nearly put it there because of the whole Fitzsimmons focus, and it is incredible. I do love that episode a lot. And then number one, I think this is a lot of people's number ones. It's not much of a surprise. It's Self-Control, which is season 4, episode 15. I wanted to get at least some kind of the framework arc in my top 10, and I kind of figured that this episode was going to be in it. It's a great way of kicking off that kind of arc. The performances are amazing. Ian, Chloe, and Elizabeth absolutely shine and kill it. The whole kind of bit, I love it so much, my voice broke. The whole sequence with like the NMD Fitz, not that we know that is an NMD at the time, and Gemma, and her having to like destroy it and everything. And then the scenes later on between Daisy and Gemma as they decide to plug themselves into the framework. That final montage where you actually find out that Ward's going to come back into it. And we see like the Doctor for the first time holding Madame Hydra's hand. Gemma's dead, May's Hydra, Coulson's a teacher. What the fuck is going on? Such an amazing setup for a very good arc. And it's such a good arc, but also very painful for me to watch again. I find I have a rough time watching it just because it's so painful for the characters that I love so much. That's why I think the rest of the arc didn't quite make it into my top episodes, just because I think it's very difficult to watch. But this one, so intense, the performances are incredible. All the daisies everywhere, all the MDs, a really great kicking off to, I think, one of the show's best arcs they've ever done. And yeah, just a stunning piece of television that I think anyone needs to kind of watch for sure. Just amazing. So that is for now, as it stands today, my top 10 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Very, very difficult list to do, just because there's so many stunning episodes in this show. And again, if you ask me tomorrow, I'd probably come up with a different order, maybe some different episodes altogether in that list. But I've put off this video for far too long. I know it couldn't be the last day of the countdown. And I was like, you know what, I just need to get this done. So I just kind of went with my gut on this list. And yeah, let me know what your favourite episodes are of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know for sure there are some episodes I absolutely love that I've completely kind of glossed over. But when there's only the top 10 you can do, you can't really get all the like god tier episodes in there, I would say, because there's definitely more than 10 for me anyway. So yeah, let me know what your favourite episodes are. And I guess that's going to be it for now. But yeah, very difficult to do this video, but that just shows how incredible the show is, I suppose. So yeah, that's my top 10 for now. And hopefully we'll get some season 7 episodes in the top 10 as well if I ever do like another update list when the show's done. I imagine there must be at least a few in there. There's going to be a lot of gems, I think, in our final season. So yeah, let me know your favourite episodes. And until tomorrow's video, thanks for watching.